Yo, so I'm having a live thought experiment right now. And the premise is stories are symbols and dimensions. It's kind of a thought experiment slash realization. Anyway, when I think of like a symbol, so start off, I think of symbol like for example, um, letters. Letters are symbols. T, C, B, D, those specific drawings or symbols are symbols for sounds that represent sounds. You know what I mean? Just like with different languages, it's just always just different symbols. In Chinese, they got different symbols and characters. In Japanese, oftentimes that mean whole words. And then, but anyway, it's like yeah, in our language, symbols represent sounds, and then together it creates language and all that. So going off of that, I was thinking like, what if a story is just another form of a symbol? And instead of representing just one sound, like for example, the letter T, just T, the T, stories can represent memories, histories, journeys, and the hero's journey. It can represent how someone overcame, or how someone failed, or whatever. So it's like that's what I see that as. It's like a symbol. You think of a story, it triggers the meaning in that story or that fairy tale or that memory or history, whatever, for you. And then real quick to get to, I'll get back to that point, but to get to dimensions, but this probably the most interesting I've been thinking about is like, the reason I say stories are dimensions is, so in the movie Interstellar, which is one of my favorite movies, is, and this is a spoiler, so if you if you don't want your shit to be spoiled, just skip or just don't watch. But anyway, in Interstellar, I think his name Cooper, he finally got, or I don't know, he went inside of a black hole. Cooper went inside the black hole, and what he found was what a lot of people theorize as the Tesseract. And with like higher dimensions and stuff, there's all types of theories, which I love to explore and think about. But one of them is like a Tesseract theory of like, for interdimensional beings. First of all, what the Tesseract is in this movie is this constructed space set up for Cooper to be able to perceive reality from their point of view in a way that he can understand. In the way that he can understand, they put it as a library. But it's like a forming and infinite mirror library where it's like you can like go to any time period, and it's like literally what you see, this library versus that library. This is like 5 minutes before, this is 5 minutes after, this is now, this is da-da-da-da. It's like you can go. So just like how with this video, however you're watching this, you can go back in time. You can rewind, you can skip ahead, you can go to, oh yeah, and in the second minute he talked about something I liked about this, or oh yeah, in the 10th minute it was something crazy, he did this, I'm gonna skip here, I'm gonna skip there. You can turn it up, you can turn it down, you can fast forward, just like how in a video you can go to specific points in time. I think about it in that dimensional way, like a higher dimensional way of like, what if higher beings, interdimensional beings, whatever, that are beyond our 3D reality, what if the way they perceive, that's like how it's shown in Interstellar, what if symbolically the way that they perceive reality is like how we can skip around in the video? They can, like, imagine if our entire lives or the world's history, whatever, or just whatever, is in a video format for higher dimensional beings. And they could just, it's like they know, that's the thing, they have access to you in your entirety. They will be able to, obviously, theoretical, of course, they will be able to skip around and go to when you lost your first tooth, when you felt the trampoline and broke your arm, when you graduated from high school, when you had your first love, when you had your first kid, when you achieved your business goals or whatever, like being able to like literally skip around in your life. It's like your life, for you, it's just linear, one directional. You just live in one way. There's past, present, future, and I'm in the now, right now, and what happened 2 seconds ago is in the past, and what's in 2 seconds from now is in the future. Now I'm in that future. Now it's like, basically I'm saying your life is linear in the 3D. For these beings, it's like they could literally like almost like skip around. Like I said, hypothetically, they could like skip around, So anyway, in that way, that is also kind of how I see stories, as dimensions, just like how, for example, if an alien or higher interdimensional being that's beyond our realm could look at your life in its entirety as if it was a video. They go to your birth. They go to your conception. They go to your conception. They go to your death. They go to, you know what I mean? Imagine that. Imagine that. And at first I think that's very cool. But to get it back, so I was talking about stories. I feel like stories are kind of like mini dimensions in a way, or just dimensions in a way, because we can watch something. Like, for example, for me right now with Interstellar, I've watched that entire movie. I don't remember every single detail at any given point in time, but I remember a certain point. I remember when they got to the planet that I think for every second it's like an hour back on Earth, and it was like the big waves that came. I remember when the lady in the story, they were like traveling or whatever, and I think that's when was it Merv or Cooper? Or was Merv the robot? I forget. Anyway, but she was traveling, she looked up in astral space or whatever, ethereal space outside the spaceship, and seen a reflection of Cooper, And then I remember on the other side when Cooper was actually traveling back, that was actually him traveling, it's like just like how I can remember different points in the story and the emotional impact and what it meant to be, and the symbolism and and dialogue sometimes, and the emotions that it felt within me. I remember at the end seeing finally when humanity was saved, they lived on like this huge, humongous, gigantic like civilization that was on like a wheel that was like spinning. It was like the sun. That was amazing. Somebody like hit a baseball and like went up. It like changed direction of gravity because it went around the other side of the loop. It's like I think about these things, these meaningful, impactful things for me, all in one story. And so I think that's significant. Stories are kind of like dimensions. When we think of stories, we think about the different things in the stories, like different moments, what it meant to us. It's so impactful. Think about how many stories have been impactful. First of all, just think about images, like pictures. You know what I mean? Just one picture alone. What's that saying? One picture can have 1,000 words to describe it or whatever. I don't know. But it's like, just see how inspired you can be out just off one picture, one painting, one drawing, or one sculpture or something like that. A whole story. There's so many things that is wrapped up just in that one symbol. That is a story. And now that got me thinking of like passing stories down, how like the impact of that, because I don't know, the story of humanity just came to my mind. The story of humanity. Man, this wind is wow. Confirmation. One of my past videos I just made was talking about nature, how we can learn so much from nature. Nature is the best teacher. Our first teacher, And so much to learn from it. And I feel like so many stories have been made about nature in the beginning of times, different fables and the frog and the horse and the turtle and the rabbit and da 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 da. My mind is kind of just cruising right now. This wind just feels so good. So pardon me if I'm trailing off, but wow, I just felt really calm just now. Wow. Stories can inspire. Stories can calm. Stories can revolutionize. Stories also memories, if you think about it. Stories can also help you remember. And it's like, now I'm thinking, what story would God want us not to forget? What story or stories, but what story would God want us not want us to forget? And now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't even think about this till now, but I think this literally goes with or at least has somewhat to do with what I'm saying, is I've also, I don't know if I can hear that loud train. Anyway, I love trains, by the way. I used to work at a train restoration joint. Anyway, let me see. What was I saying? Oh, okay. Something I've thought about, and I haven't thought about this in a while, is that I kind of see us as symbols of God. Maybe I was planning on doing another video about that, but kind of us as symbols of God in a way that kind of like we are expressions of God. Also in a way that it's like, I might make another video on this, but like something else I was having a thought experiment was like how God, there's ideas, but this one relates to God, is just like how like ideas can be, so you can have like an idea that takes different forms, different types of forms. You get a group of 10 artists in different genres, somebody from hip hop, somebody from R&B, from rock, from country, from house, the trap house jazz, to amapiano, the Afro beats, the salsa, the cumbia, I don't know if that was 10, but so you got 10 artists, different genres, and you tell them, hey, I want y'all to make a song about love. They gonna make 10 different songs about love. One gonna be hip hop, one gonna be R&B, one gonna be, you know what I mean? It's like the same idea, just different forms, different cups. It takes form, it's like you're expressing the same idea, you're expressing love through different genres, different category or different forms, categorized forms, I guess. Probably repeating myself, but in that way, I kind of think about us as like, because I also believe that God is within all of us. I kind of think of like us as different just forms of God. God expressed as us, as individuals. We're all connected in that way that God's within all of us, but we are also our own selves, our own personalities, our own identities, our own styles, and we are free to express that and explore who we are, which is exploring who God is. That's how I think about it. That's how I think about it. So anyway, I forgot what I was talking about in this video already, but stories as symbols and dimensions. Yeah, that was my live thought experiment. I just wanted to get that on camera, man, because I've been thinking about some of those things for a while now, but now I actually get to say it out loud, and I can watch this back Also comment. I don't think I've ever said this until now, but feel free to comment y'all theories, what y'all think about that. If y'all agree, disagree, any additional things or any topics or your ideas that you think I'll find interesting or whatever. So, but yeah, that's all for now. Peace.